Welcome back to Old Coin Secrets, the channel where every coin hides a story, a mystery, and sometimes a fortune. Coin number 1. Imagine if I told you that a simple 5-cent nickel could be sold today for thousands of dollars. And if you find it in high-grade full steps condition, you could literally buy not one, but multiple luxury cars and fully paid in cash. Yes, it's true. That miracle happens with the 1939 D. Jefferson Nickel, one of the true major key dates in American numismatics. Among the Jefferson Nickels series, there are many coins, but only a few become legends, coins whose rarity, history, and collector demand turn them into treasures. One of those legends is the 1939 D, often called the king of early Jefferson Nickels. In today's script, we'll go deep into this coin's background, rarity, design, grading, hidden varieties, collectability, and most importantly, its actual market value. And don't worry, I'll reveal the value near the end. To keep the thrill and flow of the story, the history behind the 1939 D. The Jefferson Nickel series began in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel. The design was created by sculptor Felix Schlag, featuring front Thomas Jefferson, back Monticello, Jefferson's home. In 1939, nickels were minted at 3 locations: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, D; San Francisco, S. But here's the twist. In 1939, the Denver Mint produced very few nickels. The Great Depression's economic effects were still lingering. Circulation needs were low, and the mint reduced production drastically. Why the 1939 D is extremely rare. This coin isn't rare because it's old. It's rare because very few were ever made. Mintage, only 3.5 million. To compare, 1939 Philadelphia mintage, 120 plus million. 1939 S mintage, 6.6 million. 1939 D mintage, 3.5 million. That makes the 1939 D the lowest mintage regular issue early date nickel, almost invisible in circulation. But that's just one part of the story. The real reason it's super valuable. Collectors of Jefferson Nickels have one golden rule. If it has full steps, it becomes a treasure. Full steps means sharp. Complete lines on the steps of Monticello. No blending, no weakness. But here's why the 1939 D becomes a monster. 1939 D full steps coins are insanely rare. Some grades have fewer than 5 to 10 known examples. That makes its price explode. Strike quality of the 1939 D. Denver Mint usually produced strong strikes. But in 1939, dies were worn, pressure was low, planchets were inconsistent, Monticello steps were weak. So a full steps 1939 D isn't just rare, it's almost miraculous. Why collectors chase this coin? There's a saying among nickel collectors: if you want to complete the early Jefferson nickel set, you must face the 1939 D. Why? It's the most scarce early date business strike. It's the toughest full steps coin. It's a major key date. It's missing from most collections. It creates bidding wars in auctions. This coin is always in high demand. Hidden varieties. The 1939 D exists with 2 reverses. Reverse of 1938. Softer, rounded details. Reverse of 1940. Sharper steps, clearer building lines, more valuable. How to identify the 1939 D? Look at the back. Monticello building. Mint mark D on the right side. Steps clarity. Strike strength. Luster quality. Denver's mint mark is thin and slightly tilted. Grading breakdown. Good fine, GF. Heavily worn, 520. Very fine, VF. Moderate detail, 25-50 DAR. Extremely fine, XF. Sharper lines, 60 while 120. Uncirculated, MS60, MS63. Mint luster, $150-400. High mint state, MS64, MS65. Premium, $600, $1,500. Gem grade, MS66 plus. High-end collector quality, $3,000, $10,000. Full steps values, MS64 FS, $7,000, $15,000. MS65 FS, $20,000, $35,000. MS66 FS, $50,000, $80,000. Top Pop FS, $100,000 plusers. Yes, one nickel can cross $100,000. Real auction sales. Heritage auctions sold a MS66 FS for over $100,000. XF examples found in rolls sell for 150 plus. Estate jars still produce occasional finds. This coin is literally hidden treasure, where you can find it. Old coin rolls, antique jars, garage sales, estate collections, vintage albums, bank hoards. Grandpa's old coin stash, a 1939D, still shows up once in a while. Rare but possible. Final value. Low grade, $520. Mid-grade, $6,200. Uncirculated, $300–$500. Gem grade, $5,000, $10,000. Full steps, $20,000, $80,000. Top grade FS, $100,000 plum. A 5-cent coin, worth over 6 figures. So friends, the 1939D Jefferson Nickel isn't just another old coin. It's a time capsule. A powerful mix of rarity, history, design, and unbelievable value. If you are serious about coin collecting, this coin must be on your priority list. Coin number 2, 1939S Jefferson Nickel, semi-key date. When it comes to the early years of the Jefferson Nickel series, there are a few coins that stand out. Coins that quietly hold massive collector value, even though most people have never heard of them. And among those rare but underrated treasures, the 1939S Jefferson Nickel is considered one of the most important semi-key dates in the entire series. Let's begin this deep dive into the history, rarity, grading, hidden varieties, and actual market value of the remarkable 1939S Jefferson Nickel, a coin born in a period of uncertainty. The year 1939 was a tense and unpredictable moment in history. World War II was beginning in Europe, economies were struggling, and the United States Mint was adjusting its coin production to match the uncertain needs of the nation. In 1939, 3 mint facilities produced nickels. Philadelphia, no mint mark. Denver, D mint mark. San Francisco, S mint mark. Philadelphia made the largest number. Denver made the fewest. And San Francisco landed right in the middle. But even then, the mintage total was shockingly low for the San Francisco Mint. That's where the rarity begins. Low mintage, the first sign of value. While Philadelphia produced well over 120 million nickels in 1939, the San Francisco Mint struck only 6,030,000 pieces of the Jefferson Nickel. This number may seem high at first glance, but for early-date Jefferson Nickels it is considered low. For comparison, 1938S, 4.1 million, 1939S, 6.6 million, later years often 20–80+ million. So this coin becomes a semi-key date simply due to mintage scarcity. But mintage is just one factor. The real value of the 1939S comes from strike quality, full steps rarity, and the transitional reverse designs used during this time. Let's explore that. The reverse mystery. 2 different reverse types. The year 1938 introduced the Jefferson Nickel, and the reverse artwork continued into 1939. But something unexpected happened. The Mint realized that the original reverse design used in 1938 lacked definition. Monticello looked soft, vague, and lacked architectural sharpness. So in 1940, the Mint switched to a redesigned reverse, sharper lines, better steps, more defined detail. But during 1939, both reverses were used. This means the 1939S appears in 2 major varieties. Reverse of 1938, soft rounded features, weak steps, more common. Reverse of 1940, sharper details, stronger steps. Much more desirable, considered scarcer in most grades. Collectors pay significantly more for the reverse of 1940 variety, especially in high grades. Why this coin is hard to find in high grades. The San Francisco Mint in the late 1930s was known for worn dies, weak strikes, low pressure strikes, soft details on Monticello steps. This created a major problem. Fully struck 1939S nickels with strong detail are rare. Full steps examples are extremely rare. High mint state grades are limited and expensive. In fact, even coins that look shiny may not be well struck. Collectors often mistake luster for quality. But for this coin, strike strength is the real challenge. Understanding full steps rarity. The full steps designation is one of the biggest reasons older Jefferson Nickels can sell for incredible amounts of money. To qualify as full steps, the steps on the Monticello building must be complete, sharp, unbroken, visible across the entire width. For the 1939S, this is extremely difficult. Most 1939s nickels show mushy steps, blurred lines, weak lower steps, blending due to worn dies, flatness in the center. As a result, letteriness, full steps coins are often worth 50x to 100x more than non-full steps examples of the same grade. That's how critical strike quality is for this date. What collectors look for. If you ever examine a 1939s, this is what serious collectors look at. 1. Reverse type, 1938 or 1940. Reverse of 1940 is worth much more. 2. Strike sharpness. Strong building lines on higher value. 3. Full steps. Even partial steps increase value significantly. Further, mint state luster. Coins with bright original luster bring premiums. 5th. D-state. Late die states tend to be weakly struck and worth less. 6. Clean surfaces. Scratches, hits, and bag marks dramatically reduce value.
Grading and price range.
Here's how much a normal 1939s is worth today. Good, G4. 2 Grafibre, fine, F12. 6, $12. Very fine, VF20. 15, $25. Extremely fine, XF40. $30, $45. U about uncirculated.
50, 90.
MS60, MS63, mint state. $100. $175. MS64. $25, $250. MS60. $250, $400. MS80, $450, $800. Strong examples in MS66 are very tough. Anything above that is truly special. Full steps values, this is the jackpot. This is where the magic happens. MS200, $500, $900. MS 1200, $2,000. MS6FSA, $2,500, $4,500 plo. Top Pop FS, finest known, can reach $7,000 to $10,000 put depending on auction demand. Full steps examples of the reverse of 1940. Design often bring even higher prices. Real auction results. Here are some real numbers from Heritage and Stax Bowers. A MS66 full steps reverse of 1940 sold for over $7,000. Several MS65 FS examples sold for $1,500 plus. MS64 FS consistently brings $500, $900. These sales prove that even though this coin is a semi-key date, its demand is extremely strong. Where these are commonly found. Collectors occasionally find this coin in old coin albums, 1930-1950 coin collections, estate boxes, antique coin jars, old bank rolls, grandpa's coin stash. Most found examples are worn, but even those can be worth money. Why collectors love the 1939s. This coin is a favorite among Jefferson Nickel collectors because it checks all the boxes. Low mintage. Historical year. Transitional reverse varieties. Weak strike. Rarity and high grades. Full step scarcity. Semi-key date status. Affordable in lower grades, valuable in higher ones. It has something for everyone. Beginners and professionals alike. Final value breakdown. Let's summarize the true value. Regular strike, no full steps. 100 depending on grade. Full steps examples. $500, 10,000 plus. These numbers show why the 1939s is one of the most desirable. Early date Jefferson Nickels. A simple small 5-cent coin. Worth up to $10,000 when fully struck. And that completes our deep dive into the 1939s. Jefferson Nickel, one of the most underrated, yet highly collectible, early nickels in U.S. history. If you ever come across a 1939s, especially one with sharp steps and strong detail, take a closer look. Because you might be holding a valuable, semi-key date worth far more than just 5 cents. Stay tuned. More rare nickel discoveries are on the way. Coin number 3, 1942, D over horizontal D, DD. Jefferson Nickel. Today's third coin is one of the most fascinating minting errors in the entire Jefferson Nickels series. The 1942 D over horizontal D, variety. A coin that looks ordinary at first glance. But once you zoom in, it reveals a hidden secret. A mint mark punched twice, one on top of the other, creating a rare variety worth thousands of dollars. Let's dive deep and explore why this coin is so special. How this error happened, how to identify it, and how much it sells for today. The unique story behind this variety. The year was 1942. The United States was fully entering World War II. Nickel metal was needed for the war effort. So the U.S. Mint was transitioning from normal nickel-based coins to the wartime alloy made from silver, manganese, and copper. But right before the composition changed, the Denver Mint produced a small number of regular composition nickels. And during this transition, a major mint mark mistake was made. A Denver mint worker manually punched the D mint mark onto the working die, but the placement was incorrect, slightly horizontal. Instead of discarding the die, he attempted to correct it by punching another D on top. This created the now famous D over horizontal D, DD error. This wasn't a machine-made error. This was a hand punch error, making each coin produced from this die slightly unique. That is exactly why collectors pay huge premiums for this variety, why this coin is so valuable. There are 3 big reasons. 1. A true variety, not a simple error. This isn't a random strike problem. It's a mint die mistake, meaning every coin minted from this die carries the same error. This dramatically increases its desirability, because varieties are official collectible items. 2. Low mintage and wartime demand. Denver was producing limited regular nickels in 1942. Most of their time and resources were spent preparing for wartime silver nickels. That's why high-grade examples of this variety are extremely scarce. 3. Mint mark errors are highly collected. Any variety involving doubled mint marks, repunched mint marks, over mint marks becomes an instant must-have coin. And this particular one is considered one of the top Jefferson nickel varieties ever discovered. How to identify the 1942 D over horizontal D? This is the fun part, because even beginners can spot this variety with a magnifier. Look at the D mint mark located to the right of Monticello. You'll notice 1. A strong primary D. This is the corrected punch. A faint horizontal D underneath. It stretches sideways, visible on both sides of the main mint mark. 3. Extra thickness on the left and right edges of the mint mark. 4. A slight shadow-like outline under the main D. Sometimes the lower D appears tilted, stretched, or partially flattened. These small details are what make this variety special. Grading matters. Condition can multiply the value. Because this variety is rare, condition drastically affects its price. Here's a simplified breakdown collectors use. Value of the 1942 D over horizontal D variety. Circulated grades. F to VF, $25, 60. So $75, $150. $150, $250. Mint state grades. MS60, $200, $300. MS63, $450, $700. MS64, $900, $1,400. S65, $2,200, $3,500. MS66, extremely rare, 6,000, 10,000 plus. Top auction sales. Some of the highest graded examples have sold for 12,000 plus at professional auctions. Yes, a nickel worth 5 cents could be worth over $10,000. If you have a high-grade specimen with a sharp mint mark, why this coin is loved by collectors. Collectors treasure this variety because it sits at the perfect intersection of history, rarity, wartime production, mint mark error, strong visual appeal. It also fits perfectly into several collecting categories. Jefferson Nickels set collectors, wartime coin collectors, error and variety collectors, mint mark specialists. That's why demand is always strong. Beginner tip, check every 1942 D nickel. You'd be shocked how many people have this coin and don't even realize it. The error is small enough that it's ignored by casual sellers, and dealers often miss it if the coin is worn. If you're searching through jars, old collections, inherited boxes, estate sales, always inspect the mint mark closely. This one single detail can transform a 5-cent coin into a 4-figure treasure. The 1942 D over horizontal DD Jefferson Nickel is easily one of the top errors in the entire series. Its combination of wartime minting history, low survival rate, and clear mint mark variety make it a true prize for collectors. Whether you're a beginner or an expert, this is the kind of coin everyone dreams of finding. A small piece of history with a big value attached. Coin number 4, 1943 P3. 2 Overdate Jefferson Nickel. War Nickel. Our fourth coin today is one of the most mysterious and exciting varieties in the entire Jefferson Nickels series, the 1943 P32 Overdate War Nickel, a coin that carries a dramatic error, wartime history, and a value that can reach thousands of dollars in the right condition. Let's dive deep into this rare treasure. A coin born in the middle of World War II. The year was 1943. America was fully engaged in World War II, and nickel metal was urgently needed for tanks, armor plates, and weapons. Because of this, the U.S. Mint changed the composition of the 5-cent coin, replacing nickel with a special wartime alloy. 35% silver, 56% copper, 9% manganese. These war nickels are the only Jefferson nickels ever made with silver, which already makes them historically important, but the 1943P has something even more special. A dramatic overdate error that makes it one of the rarest nickels in America. What exactly is a 3-2 overdate? On this coin, the 3 in the date 1943 was punched over a previously punched 2, meaning the die originally said 1942. This happened during the transition from 1942 to 1943, when the mint reused dies to meet wartime demand. A mint worker tried converting a 1942 die into a 1943 die. He punched the 3 on top of the 2, creating the extremely rare 1943 P3/2 overdate nickel, and unlike many small varieties, this is a major visual error. Collectors love it because the underlying 2 is clear, especially on high-grade coins. How to identify this rare variety? You don't need advanced tools. Even a simple magnifying glass can reveal the error. Look at the 3 in the date. You will see 1. A curved piece of the old 2 under the top of the 3. This is the most visible part, a hook-like mark. 2. A diagonal line from the original 2 inside the lower part of the 3. 3. Extra thickness on the right side of the 3. 4. Distorted edges that do not appear on normal 1943P nickels. If these signs are present, you may be holding a true overdate. Why this overdate is so valuable? Due to wartime production pressure. The mint was rushing production because silver nickels were urgently required for circulation. Reusing dies was a common practice, but overdates were rare mistakes, not intentional. 2. Very limited quantity. Only a small number of overdate dies were ever used. Experts estimate that less than 10,000 coins were struck with this error. Surviving high-grade examples are far fewer. 3. Strong visibility of the error. Some varieties are tiny and hard to see, but on this coin, the 2 is clear even to new collectors, making it a highly desirable showpiece. 4. Collectors love silver war nickels. Because these coins contain 35% silver, they already carry value. Add a major variety like the overdate, and the price skyrockets. Value of the 1943 P32 overdate nickel. Here is the approximate market value based on current auction data. Circulated grades. Good, G to fine, F. $150, $300. Very fine, VF. $350, $500. Extremely fine, XF. $550, $800. Almost uncirculated, AU. AU50 to AU58, 900, 400. Mint state grades. MS60, 1600, 2100. S63, $2,500, $4,000. MS64, $4,500, $7,000. S65, $8,000, $12,000. S66, very rare, $15,000, $25,000 plus. Highest auction record. Some superb high-grade examples have sold for over $30,000. Yes, a 5-cent silver. War nickel can easily bring tens of thousands if it's a clean, sharply struck overdate. Historical importance of this coin. Collectors love this coin not just for its rarity, but for the history it represents. This was the era of rationing, wartime recycling, metal shortages, silver coin production. The U.S. Mint was operating under extreme pressure, and that's exactly why rare mistakes like this occurred. The 1943P overdate is a time capsule from Lobioi, a small piece of American history preserved in metal. Why you should always check your 1943P nickels. Millions of 1943P silver nickels were produced, but only one small batch contained this overdate. Many people have silver nickels lying around and never check the date carefully. Even coin shops sometimes miss it, especially in worn grades. If you see a 1943P war nickel, always inspect the 3. Look for signs of the underlying 2. If you spot anything unusual, you may have a valuable treasure. Collectors love it for many reasons. This single coin fits into multiple collecting categories. Jefferson nickel collectors, error and variety collectors, silver coin collectors, war nickel specialists, overdate collectors. This makes demand extremely strong, which is why prices continue to rise. This variety is often placed in the top 10 most important Jefferson nickel varieties list. This coin is a dream discovery for coin hunters. It has everything: a major visible error, wartime history, silver composition, a very small number surviving, high auction prices, strong collector demand. The 1943 P3-2 Overdate nickel is not just rare, it's legendary. If found in high grade, it can turn an ordinary silver nickel into a 10,000 Paulus treasure. Coin number 5, 1944 D over, DDD repunched mint mark. Jefferson Nickel. Our fifth and final coin today takes us once again to the heart of America's wartime coinage, the 1944 D over D repunched mint mark Jefferson Nickel, a coin born out of urgency, metallic shortages, and the high-pressure environment of World War II. A coin that looks simple, but when studied closely, reveals one of the strongest and most dramatic mint mark varieties ever found in the Jefferson Nickel series. Let's explore everything that makes this numismatic treasure so special. A wartime coin with a rare minting mistake. The year was 1944. World War II was raging overseas. And the United States Mint was operating at full speed to produce millions of coins needed for daily commerce. But because nickel metal was considered essential for military production, the Mint produced special silver war nickels which contained 35% silver, 56% copper, 9% manganese. These coins are already valuable due to their silver content. But the 1944 DDD RPM, also known as the repunched mint mark, carries an additional layer of rarity. What exactly is a repunched mint mark, RPM? Before 1990, mint marks, DS, etc., were punched into the dies by hand, not with digital precision. This meant sometimes punches were crooked, sometimes they didn't strike deeply, sometimes they were struck in the wrong location. When that happened, the mint worker punched the mint mark a second time, creating the famous RPM, repunched mint mark. For the 1944 D nickel, the first punch was too low and tilted. The second punch was struck slightly higher and more centered. The result? A dramatic, highly visible D over D mint mark. This variety is bold, obvious, and one of the easiest RPMs to identify, which is why collectors love it. How to identify the 1944 D over D DD RPM? Look closely at the mint mark D on the reverse of the coin to the right of Monticello. You will notice 1. A second D underneath the main one. This is the old incorrect mint mark. 2. Heavy doubling along the lower left and lower right side of the D. The lower punch sticks out clearly. 3. Extra thickness on the edges, because two punches never line up perfectly. 4. A bold shadow-like effect behind the main mint mark. This makes the variety easy to spot, even with a simple magnifying glass. Some RPMs are extremely subtle, but the 1944 DD is bold, crisp, and one of the most dramatic in the whole series. Why this RPM occurred during the war. In 1944, the Mint was producing millions of silver nickels every single week. Pressure was huge, timing was tight, machines were overworked, and every worker knew that these coins were going straight into the economy. Mistakes like repunched mint marks happened when a mint worker misaligned the first punch. The second punch was struck too quickly. Dies were changed rapidly. Quality checks were rushed due to war demand. This RPM is a product of the high-stress, high-output environment of the wartime mint, and these mistakes created during chaos are now worth real money. The value of the 1944 D over D DD nickel. Because this is a silver wartime variety, demand is already high, but because it's also a strong, dramatic RPM, collectors chase it aggressively. Here is the current estimated value. Circulated grades. Fine, F, 25, 50. Very fine, VF, $60, $90. Extremely fine, XF, $100, $150. Almost uncirculated grades, AU, O50, 175, 250, EU58, $300, 400 bin. Mint state uncirculated, MS60, $500, $700, MS63, $900, $400,
MS64 canta $600, 2,300.
MS65, $2,800, $4,000. MS66, $4,500, $6,500 plus ours. Auction highlights. Some extremely sharp, well-struck examples have sold for over $7,500 at major auctions. Yes, a wartime nickel that originally cost just 5 cents is now worth thousands. Why collectors love this variety? 1. It's bold and easy to see. This is one of the clearest RPM varieties in the Jefferson series. 2. It's a silver war nickel. Silver alone adds value and historical importance. 3. It's widely recognized. Every major grading company certifies this variety. PCGS, NGC, Annex, ICG. 4. It's part of the big 3 top wartime nickels. Alongside 1943 P Overdate, 3-2, 1942 DD variety. 5. Collectors of every level want it. Beginners love it because it's easy to identify. Experts love it because high grades are rare. A rare piece of wartime history. Every 1944 D war nickel carries a deeper meaning. It was struck during a time when American factories ran 24/7. Metal was rationed. Millions of families had someone fighting overseas. Every part of life was transformed by the war. Coins became tools of national economy, essential for buying food, fuel, clothing, and rationed goods. The 1944 DD nickel isn't just a mint error. It is a piece of American perseverance created when every small detail mattered. Tips for coin collectors. If you want to check your own silver nickels, here's what you should do. 1. Look for the mint mark first. The mint mark D is on the reverse right of Monticello. 2. Look for doubling, especially under the main D. Don't clean your coin. Cleaning destroys value instantly. 4. Consider getting it graded. For RPM varieties, certification raises the value significantly. 5. Compare with clear photos of genuine RPMs. Enough images exist online to help you spot real versus fake varieties. The 1944 DD Jefferson Nickels stands tall as one of the most dramatic wartime minting mistakes ever made. It has everything. A bold repunched mint mark, silver composition, historical significance, strong collector demand, rising market values, a dramatic visual appearance. Whether you're a new collector or a seasoned expert, this coin deserves a top place in any Jefferson nickel collection. It is a rare reminder of a moment in history when the nation was united. Factories were roaring, and even small minting errors became treasures decades later. Coin number 6, 1945 P. Jefferson. Nickel, double die reverse. Today's coin is not just rare. It is one of the most dramatic double die varieties in the entire Jefferson Nickel series. This is coin number 6, the 1945 P double die reverse. A war-era treasure created at a time when America was fighting for its survival. Silver was being poured into ammunition, tanks, radios, and aircraft, and yet, in the middle of this chaos, the U.S. Mint produced a coin that would later become one of the most collectible nickels of its generation. But what makes this coin so special? Why do collectors call it a silver mistake with a doubled identity? And how did this wartime minting error turn a small nickel into a high-value collectible? Let's begin. A war coin with a secret error. The year is 1945. The world is at war. The U.S. Mint is under pressure to produce nickel coins without using actual nickel because nickel metal was essential for military production. So the Mint changed the recipe. 35% silver, 56% copper, no print manganese. This formula created what collectors now call war nickels, identified by the large mint mark above Monticello on the reverse. But in 1945, something unexpected happened. While preparing the dies, one reverse die was hubbed twice improperly, creating strong doubling across the lettering and design. The doubling is most visible on E pluribus unum, United States of America. The large P mint mark, the Monticello steps and architecture. This was not a minor microscopic doubling. This was a major visual double die, the kind collectors dream about. Only a small population of these nickels survived, making the 1945 P double die reverse a limited supply. High demand error coin. Why collectors chase this coin? There are 3 big reasons collectors love this variety. 1, it's a true double die error. Not machine doubling, not die deterioration. This is authentic double die hubbing. That alone pushes its value up. 2, strong visible doubling. Even beginners can identify this doubling with the naked eye. This makes it exciting and easier to detect in pocket change or old collections. 3. It contains silver. Being a war nickel, it includes 35% silver, giving it both error value and metal value. 2 types of value in one coin. Always a powerful combination. How the error happened. During wartime, the mint was under tremendous pressure. The die preparation team often worked extended hours to meet deadlines. When creating a working die, the hub must impress the design perfectly. But if it shifts slightly between hubbings, doubling becomes locked into the die itself. Every coin struck by that die will show the same doubling. That's exactly what happened in 1945. Only one specific die produced these doubled coins, which means the population is extremely limited. Current market value. This is what you were waiting for. Value of the 1945p double die reverse nickel. Good fine, 75, 150. Very fine, $150, $250. Extra fine, $250, $450. AU grades, $450, $900. MS60, MS63, $1,000, $2,500. Sulfur, $2,500, $4,500. MS65, $5,000 plus. High-end certified gems, $10,000 plus. A silver wartime mistake worth thousands. Yes, it is one of the most valuable war nickels ever produced. The historical angle. This coin was minted in the final year of World War II. Soldiers were returning home. Factories were slowing production, and America was preparing for victory. During this transition, unusual minting conditions led to multiple errors, including this one. Collectors love historical stories, and this coin brings history, rarity, and silver content together. What makes this coin easy to spot? When you flip the coin over, look for thick doubled letters on E pluribus unum, shadows or doubling on United States of America, widespread doubling on the P mint mark, doubling on the architecture of Monticello. This variety is bold, clear, and dramatic. Even beginners get excited when they see it under magnification. Why these errors bring big money? Numismatists love errors that are uncommon, easy to see, linked to major historical eras, created by a single die, containing silver. Listed in major catalogs, this one is. The 1945p double die reverse checks every box. That's why collectors pay thousands for certified high-grade examples. How rare is it? Only a small number of these coins were struck. Most ended up in circulation during the 1940s and were worn down through decades of use. High-grade survivors are incredibly rare. The average collector will never hold one, and most people don't even know this error exists. Why you should check your old war nickels. If you have old jars, inherited coin albums, or savings from grandparents, check them. Check everything. War nickels often look old, worn, and dull, but hidden among them could be a $5,000 double die error like this one. People have found this coin in old military collections, antique shops, book one nickelbacks, pocket change, rare but possible. The treasure is out there. This coin is a legend among Jefferson Nickels collectors. It's bold. It's silver. It carries the scars of war and the beauty of an era that was never meant to exist. The 1945p double die reverse proves something important. Even in the chaos of history, even in the middle of a world war, a small mistake can turn into a big treasure. So keep your eyes open. Old coins hide big stories, and sometimes big money. And that wraps up today's journey through 6 of the rarest and most valuable Lincoln Wheat and Jefferson Nickels. From the 1943 bronze, sent to the 1945p double die reverse, these coins are proof that even small change can hold incredible treasures. If you enjoyed this deep dive into history and hidden wealth, like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because there are more rare coin stories coming your way soon.